more sustainable for the future of the use, yeah, for the future development. So the main of the goal of this center of excellence is want to contribute how we can develop, but make also contribute to the reconciliation of the sustainable land use itself. Yeah, because as we know that usually if there is some change of the land use, there is also some change of the impact of the land use itself. Mostly the economical impact will be increased. For example, when the forest area is with the forest or the vegetation convert from the divert the vegetation to oil palm plantation, for example, or for the giant, for the pineapple or some other use, usually they will increase on the function of economical function, but mostly there is also decreasing in the ecological function, ecosystem function, and also in some point in the social function. So this center of excellence is we try.
Great Giant Pineapple, Lampung. Professor Zulkifli Alamsyah from Faculty of Agriculture, University of Jambi. Mr. Tommaso Citti, PhD from Tusia University, Italy. Dr. Finn K. Mathisen from Georg August Universitat Göttingen, Germany. And the moderator, Professor Gambis from Faculty Science and Technology, and Ibu Upi Irianti, and esteemed experts and academicians, respected participants both in person and online, all of the organizing committee, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Good
wabarakatuh.
morning. On behalf of Director of the University of Jambi, Professor Dr. Helmi, I extend his sincerest regrets for not being able to join us today due to prior commitments. However, it's my honor to represent him and deliver this welcome speech on this significant occasion, the second international seminar on land use transformation systems, with the theme Bridging the Gap Between Science and Practice.
Mas Bapak atas keynote speech-nya. We would like to welcome kepada Pak Johansyah SME, kepada Pak Dr. Fos Bambang Irawan, to all the invited speakers and also moderators, Ibu Rahmidianita also to join us in front of the stage for the photo session. Bapak Ibu dipersilakan.
Leading collaborative research and development project in plant biotechnology, mainly in Ivory Coast, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Costa Rica. Alan was awarded HDR habilitations as a first research director degree in life sciences in 1995 from University Paris Sud, Oslo. He is a qualified professor in both biology and sociology since 2002. Alan Ripas was a Marie Curie Fellow at CSIRO, plant industry in Canberra, Australia, running the evidence project on plant epigenetics funded by the European Commission. The project aimed at better understanding the molecular regulation of can governing kedokteran hewan IPB University Bogor. Oke, terima kasih Pak Willy sudah hadir. Okay, the participants, we have our three invited speakers on stage. I would like to give you some information related to the seminar today. Okay, the participants, the three keynote speakers. The first one, Prof. Alan Ripple, will talk about oil palm-based agroforestry for regenerative agriculture. So each speaker will have about 15 to 20 minutes.
And the governor, they know how to do. They know this principle. They know that we have to follow this principle of reducing soil disturbance, covering the soil, crop diversity. These are very simple and basic things to do. And you see all the keywords here. You cannot say no against these kind of things. They are commonly accepted. And one of the key words is the harmony with nature, don't force the nature to do something it doesn't like to do, like deforestation.
Healthy soil leads to healthy environment.
To achieve healthy soil, we need excellent quality of compost. That's why we are reprocessing the cattle manure and developing the Black Soldier Clay Farm.
In embracing the circular economy, we are unlocking value from what was once considered waste. In what may seem like waste to some, we see it as an opportunity to create a positive outcome. The start of a positive chain of impact for Mother Earth and a lasting legacy for generations to come.
I'm confident that we're headed in the right direction. By looking out for one another and actively contributing to a more sustainable environment, we're collectively forging a path towards a brighter future.
We're aiming to build a harmonious existence that benefits both human
economic circular. At that time, I'm the one who built Big Giant Livestock. So we fact, just imagine 300 to 250 metric tons of waste. If we have to build waste treatment unit, that's very costly. So that's why we use it to feed the cattle, and our cattle farm is actually the waste treatment unit of Great Giant Bani. So that's all, and maybe I will emphasize my explanation from the business point of view. Professor Alan, how to pronounce it? Alan. Ya, Alan. Bukan Ahlan wa sahlan, Alan. Professor Alan is the explanation is more on the basic science. So that's why I just now have a discussion with Papa that sometime which is good in the experimental basic science cannot be implemented in the business. So that's why I encourage to the mostly of all universities, let us doing research which is not only give us a scientific or academical satisfaction, but also we have to have a economical satisfaction.
I want to make a summary from all of my presentation this morning. Actually, this is only how to provoke you to solve the problem of the oil palm, especially for smallholder oil palm farmers in peatland. So, my presentation entitled with sustainability of smallholder oil palm plantation on peatlands. The global idea is I would like to show you about how the importance of the palm oil in the vegetable oil, even in the world market, and then how the increasing of demand for vegetable oil in the world, and then how the oil palm industry responds to the increasing demand. And then I want to show you also how Indonesia and Malaysia is the main producing countries in palm oil. And then I go into peatland reserve. Yeah. What is the problem that the farmers are facing in the oil palm plantation in the peatlands, and then I want just to give the empirical facts about what the farmers and what all farm performance in the field. Especially I just show you about the productivity of the oil palm. Potential of ecosystem for oil contribution. Here I show you about the decree of this is the decree of our Ministry of Environment and Forestry in 2020, showing that there are, we call it other use area. In Indonesia we call it APL, area penggunaan lain, and in orange color I show you about the what we call it, plantation right, cultivation right. Ya, kalau Indonesianya hak guna usaha. The red one is the productivity of oil palm plantation on peatland. So if we look here, the productivity is not much different between the productivity on peatland and the productivity in mineral soil. Why? If we see here, because the use of fertilizer, especially here, the most fertilizer they use is the compounding fertilizer, NPK. They use in orange. This is how they use the NPK fertilizer on peatland plantation.
So first of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Jamshed Ahmed. Currently, I am pursuing my undergraduate degree in University of Jambi as an international student, and in 5th semester, and my major is economic development. So first of all, I would like to thank all dear keynote speakers for their precious time, and also dear committee and also UNJA for conducting this kind of such a fruitful program for youth where we can learn together and gain knowledge. So now I would like to ask question from Bapak Willy dari Lampung, Indonesia. Bapak, as you mentioned that our company contribute 25% in the world, and there is like it is a main contribution in Indonesian GDP. It might be, but as you know that if we produce more production of palm oil, it will also affect our ecology, soil destruction, and also species. So if these stuffs are destructed, so we cannot produce more production of palm oil. So how your company sustain these stuffs to produce more production? Thank you so much. That's all.
This is for Alsin. That's a very interesting talk for this morning for Alsin. Sorry, for Aisin. Alan Draper, sorry, for Alan Draper. For Alan. First fact show that smallholder oil palm farmers have implemented sustainable agriculture, planting palm, also planting jackfruit, and planting also planting mangoes, etc. But there have been many articles also discussing about biodiversity and opportunity for biodiversity. But on the big companies, they start with HCP, high conservation value. Only in sensitive location, of course. And some also don't do this. I think if you agree, now is a good start, good time to campaign for it with your discussion about generative agriculture. For company is using a political ecology approach is the right way, or I need your comment. And for Pak Welly, is amazing talk, Pak Welly, and video. That's a very good video. To make the economy circular with a pineapple peel pulp is then converted into organic fertilizer. Then it can contribute to subsequent economic profit for the company. What about farmers? Do farmers buy organic fertilizer from the company or what? And second, it's good for pineapple, yeah? But product like cycle pineapple is equal with the economic circular. Okay, thank you.
My name is Azam Shari. I'm from Yemen. Currently, I'm studying economic development at the University of Jambi. And my question is to Zulfikri. As you mentioned that scaling or implementing the oil palm-based agroforestry for regions is very important and essential for environmental and economic benefit. However, the regional differences, especially in natural resource abundance and policies, community engagement, can pose significant barriers. So, in your opinion, what are the challenges that could be encountering when we want to implement or scale the oil palm-based agroforestry in different regions, and how could they be tackled? Thank you.
On forest area. So even in ecosystem for protection function, our government also set the area for social forestry there. Yeah, in protection area is about 2,408,000. Yeah, that can be used for the community to cultivate, even in the scheme of agroforestry. Yeah. Why the people cannot do agroforestry in APL, in other use area? Because for them, palm oil, oil palm plantation is very economic incentive for them. Yeah.
Ada Profesor Alan Nicol. Monica gives the appreciation to Bapak Dr. Hewan Welly Sugiono.
Alright, time is here.
Okay, thank you. I will respect the time. Do you see the screen? Everything is okay? Just to know.
Yeah, okay.
Perfect. So, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to this event. I mean, it's an honor to be here. I mean, to be connected with you and to share with you some of the finding, I mean, of the knowledge that I have in the field of carbon farming. I was introduced. I'm a soil scientist working basically on carbon dynamics. And since the last few years, as you know, there is this carbon farming program going on at EU level, I mean, worldwide, but we are also implementing it at EU level. So today I would like to provide you with some indication of what we are doing in Europe for carbon farming, both in agriculture and forestry. So the soil non-carbon sequestration, because we are doing the measurements always on the same points.
While in most of the cases in the scientific literature, you find that most of the study consider a pair plot comparison, so measurements are not done always in the same place, but they are derived using a control and a site where a specific practice is implemented. And we will see that, of course, even if the trend is similar, the results in terms of soil organic carbon sequestration in general, they can be different.
The first study is to systematically investigate students' relevance perceptions about socio-scientific issues using the example of old-farm cultivation. We found positive cognitive and motivation learning outcomes for both units, and design-based research demonstrated to be an efficient approach to develop learning units addressing scientific research.
Good afternoon, moderator, ladies and gentlemen. It's my greatest pleasure to be here today. The title of my presentation is Assisting, Grouping and Workshop for Students of Salimah Pre-Marriage and Elderly Schools in Tahtul Yaman, based on sanitation insight and application of behavioral statistics. And community service team is myself, Bunga Madatila SSI Staff, Sali Anova SSI MSI, Insinyur Laila Busri STMSI, Gusman Elizet SSI MSI, and Sarmada SSI MSI. And students of KKNT, MPKM, PPM, DLT, Rashad Fadil Rianto, Sumiati, M. Alvito Diputra, Iniasti Pulo, Hilmalia, Agnes Agita Panjaitan, Miranda Sukmanur Hadi, Ratu Masakila Yuanza, Triana Yuniati, and Lamawati. Salimah Jambi Province has been active for the last few years in various corners of Jambi Province. Salimah is a community organization that operates with concern for women and children. It is a pioneering women's organization with a central leadership in the national capital, and its echoes are transmitted throughout the province through regional leadership to branch leadership and even branches with various superior programs, including pre-marriage schools and senior citizen schools. In running the premarital school and elderly school programs, Salimah has guidelines in the form of standard operating procedure and even a clear curriculum, but has not touched much on the realm of sanitation insight and behavioral statistics. Moving on from this problem, the community service team felt the need to provide assistance, grouping, and workshop for participants of the Salimah Pre-Marriage School and Elderly School in Tahtul Yaman village, based on sanitation insights and behavioral statistics. Considering that Tahtul Yaman village, sub-district is one of the DLT supported by Universitas Jambi, whose society has a variety of potential characteristics. It is hoped that this community education activity will increase the insight and skills of the premarital school participants, provide their direction, and remind the elderly school participants. And then group the participants of the two schools using non-hierarchical cluster analysis to then provide further appropriate workshop material. Cluster of each participant in terms of sanitation, insight, and behavioral statistics. Salsa and Serasi. In Salimah, Indonesia, premarital school, known as Serasi, is a program launched by the central leadership of the Muslimah Brotherhood to improve the quality of families in Indonesia. This program is designed to guide teenagers, couples who are ready to get married, and married couples with household knowledge. The material taught covers the field of religion, psychology, health law, as well as economics and skills. Serasi was launched with the theme through Salimah Premarital School, prepare family resilience towards a quality family, which reflects the program's aims to build strong and quality families in accordance with religious guidance. This program also received support from various parties, including Pegadaian Syariah, who wanted to participate in creating couples who brought each other peace and beauty. Salima also has another superior program, namely the Elderly School. The Salima Elderly School, or what is known as the SALSA program, is an initiative of the Salima Muslimah Brotherhood, Salimah, which aims to improve the quality of life for the elderly. This program provides various activities that support the religious, social, physical, and psychological health of elderly. Through gathering, socializing, having fun, studying together, working together, and praying together, the elderly are expected to be able to live out the rest of their lives in a productive and contributive manner. The Salimah Elderly School also emphasized the importance of maintaining physical health and faith during the pandemic by providing support to the elderly so they don't feel alone and stay connected to the community. This program has been inaugurated by the Ministry of Social Affairs and has been running in several regions in Indonesia with a curriculum that covers religion, psychology, health, economics, and skills. Salimah is committed to respecting and glorifying the elderly and serving them as part of her contribution to society and the nation. This program has shown positive results with improvements in knowledge, behavior, and quality of life for the elderly who take part. Location of community service in Tahtul Yaman, Pelayangan Distrik, Jambi City, Jambi Province, Indonesia. Salimah Jambi Province has been active for the last few years in various corners of Jambi Province. In running the premarital school and elderly school program, Salimah has guidelines in the form of SOP, and even a clear curriculum. And problems in Tahtul Yaman. One, at the Salimah pre-wedding school or pre-marriage school, Tahtul Yaman, complete insight regarding sanitation is required to be applied by participants both before and after marriage. At the Salimah Tahtul Yaman Elderly School, insight is needed regarding sanitation to support the health of the elderly themselves and the environment. At the Salimah Tahtul Yaman Elderly School, insight is needed regarding sanitation to support the health of the elderly themselves. Participants in premarital schools and Tahtul Yaman Elderly Schools do not include more comprehensive insights regarding sanitation and behavioral statistics in their curriculum. And problem-solving steps in community service that we have done. One, assistance and workshop related to sanitation and behavioral statistics, grouping of participants at the Tahtul Yaman premarital school and elderly school use non-hierarchical cluster analysis, and providing modules related to sanitation and behavioral statistics to participants of the Tahtul Yaman premarital school and elderly school. And science and technology and of community services that we have done. Water and sanitation, as we see in the screen, sanitation system, water-based, composting-based, treatment method by municipal wastewater, septic tanks, constructed wetlands, or living machine, and composting and then solid management. And then next, behavioral statistics. Behavioral statistics is a branch of statistics that focus on the analysis and interpretation of data in the field of behavioral and social science. It involves the use of statistical methods to understand, explain, and predict human and animal behavior. The following are some of the main points related to behavioral statistics. Use of statistics. Behavioral statistics is used to analyze the data collected from behavioral research such as psychology, sociology, and educational science. Scientific method. This often involves applying scientific methods in research, including hypothesis, data collection, and testing. Data type. Data in behavioral statistics can be qualitative or quantitative, and measurement methods vary depending on the type of data. population and samples, research in behavioral statistics often involves taking samples from larger population to make generalizable conclusion. And statistical analysis, this analysis can include various techniques such as hypothesis testing, regression, analysis of variance, etc., which help in interpreting data and making decisions based on evidence. Behavioral statistics is very important in understanding the complexity of behavior and mental processes, as well as in the development of new theories and effective intervention in behavioral and social science. It is hoped that this will be useful for Salimah's mass organization in managing premarital schools and schools for the elderly. And next is the documentation of KKNT. This is documentation of SALSA or elderly school. This is the participants of SALSA and Serasi. And then this is implementation of graphology in behavioral statistics. In graphology, we used to one of instrument of behavioral statistics to detect character of student of premarital school or Serasi. Example of based on the 4 examples of handwriting above, there is a personality tendency to be tied to the past. The 4 participants are not the hardworking type, not pessimistic, aka optimist persons, and the 4 participants didn't have high targets in their lives. This is documentation. Thank you. Other presentation with title Implementation of Celia Nova, Pak Laila Busri, Pak Tri Supriya Putra, and Pak Darus. Background of community service. Vetiveria zizanioides is a hyperaccumulator plant that is often used in the application of phytoremediation technology in polluted soils. Talanggulu landfill is one of the landfills in Jambi province where there is an open dam that is no longer in use and needs to be managed to restore soil quality so that it doesn't contaminate groundwater. Based on the results of a survey conducted by the community service team to the location of the former Talanggulu landfill open dumping area, piles of waste were only stockpiled with soil without further management. Purpose of community service transfers information related to the application of phytoremediation techniques, implementing phytoremediation techniques so that partners can continue effort to manage the former open dumping system waste mountain or hills. Benefits of community service improve partners' knowledge related to the application of phytoremediation techniques. Partners can carry out phytoremediation techniques to manage the former open dumping system waste mountain or hill area, establish relationships with partners so that the program can be sustainable. Stage of community service activity: 1. Site survey and coordination with partners. Figure 1, open dumping system waste mountain or hill area. Figure 2, discussion between the community service team and the Talanggulu landfill site. And 2, implementation of extension. Figure 3, atmosphere of extension implementation. Next, stage of community service activity, pre and post implementation surveys. Table 1, result of participants' knowledge of phytoremediation techniques. Question, do you know what phytoremediation is? And next, number 7, can you apply phytoremediation techniques? Pre-test and post-test as shown on the screen. Sorry. Stage of community service activity, implementation of phytoremediation technique. Figure 4, phytoremediation technique implementation process. Can show in the slide. Sorry. Conclusion: the community service activities carried out at TPA Talanggulo Jambi City are tailored to the needs and conditions, such as advice and assistance in implementing phytoremediation techniques. Participants who attended the counseling on phytoremediation techniques participated in the activity with enthusiasm and increased their understanding of the topic. Conclusion, number 3, the next stage of activities that will be carried out by the service team is evaluating the application of phytoremediation techniques that have been carried out and designing the sustainability of service activities at the Talanggulo landfill next year. Thank you. This is the end of the presentation. Thank you and have a nice day, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Bu Ina, for the short 2 presentation.